Hey guys, welcome to this video on the in operator in T-SQL or Transact-SQL or SQL Server. Um, so in the previous videos, one of the previous videos we had looked at the where clause. So I'll just link to that video if you haven't seen it already, because if you haven't seen it already or don't know how the where clause works, you might want to watch that before coming to this video. But otherwise, if you do know how it works, this video should be fine for you. And in this video, we're going to be looking at the in operator, which basically allows you to specify multiple values in a where clause. In the previous video, when we looked at the where clause and we looked at the and or operator, we had seen that we could use the or operator to specify multiple conditions or multiple values that a condition that a data could meet to satisfy the conditions. And if we wanted to specify multiple conditions, we could use the or operator between the conditions, and then if any one of them were true, the data would be returned. But in case you don't want to write such lengthy statement, the in operator gives you another option for that. So this is the syntax. So basically we've just got to select column name from table name, and then the where, and then you specify the column name which you want to specify the condition for, and then you do in, and then inside brackets you put the multiple values that could possibly meet the condition that you want to specify. So you can just put a band of values in there, and in some cases you could also do a nested select statement. If you have too many values to manually type down, you could write a statement which just returns the values that you want to be included in the in operator. So we look at some demos and it'll all become clear to you. So let's dive in and set up the environment. So I'm using Azure Data Studio, which is the Mac tool you need for SQL Server. And if you're on Windows, you can use SQL Server Management Studio. I've got installation guides to both of these depending on your operating system. And apart from that, I shall also link to a GitHub repository that basically has the tables data, table data, the table setup data, or for the sample data that I'm using in this demo. And you can just copy this and paste it into your SQL tool if you want to follow along. And I've also got a demo.sql file in this repository that will be linked in the description. And in the demo.sql file, you'll get basically I've written down the queries that I'll be using in the demo, so you can just copy paste them if you don't want to type them out or you're getting some errors with syntax. So let's begin. So I've just basically run a select start, show you what the sample data is like. We've got an ID, first name, last name, email, gender, IP address, age, country, credit card provider, and currency. So let's just start with the basic usage of the in operator. So we can do select star from sample data where and then you specify column name that you want to match, country, in, and then you can do your values. So suppose I want to find all the people who are from China. I can do where country in China. So you can see you get all the people whose country is China. And the keenan among you would note that this would be the same if you do a where country and then you do a equals to China. So you're right. But the advantage of this in operator comes in when you want to specify multiple conditions. So here I can specify where China is country in China, and then put a comma and then add Russia as well. So now you can see I've got only people who are from China and Russia. If we wanted to do this with the where and the equals to operator, we would have to do where country equals to China, and then do a or statement, and then do country equal to Russia. So you can see that's much more code that you need to write, and it gets even worse when you want to add more countries names. So suppose you can do as many as you want, as long as there is some condition met inside the table. So suppose we want to do Indonesia. and then we run that. So here we go. So we've got all the people who are basically from different from these three countries that are present in the table. So you can understand why in would be useful. So basically, when you've got to specify multiple conditions and you don't want to just keep writing the where equals to and then doing or statements with the equals to operator in between them, then you can use the in operator. And another advantage is, suppose there's too many conditions that you need to specify in the where clause. So what you could do is you could actually use a nested SQL statement. So suppose we wanted to get a list of just the countries in this table. How we would do that is we do select distinct country from sample data. So this should give you a list of all the distinct countries in the table, and then when you run this, you get a list of all the distinct countries, and then you can nest that inside this in operator. So just inside this bracket, just put that select statement, and it's important that you don't need the semicolon that was inside the nested SQL statement anymore. So now basically what happens is this single row of data that was returned in this previous select statement is substituted. It's the same as if you wrote all these countries in this table with commas inside the bracket. So that's basically what this statement is doing. So you can think that this statement inside the bracket was executed and all these countries name in this list was added inside the bracket, so then it operates like a normal in statement. So you can see we'll get everybody in the table because we've basically called all people from all countries that are present in the table. And another aspect of the in operator is using the not keyword before the in operators. Then it gives you the inverse statement. So suppose we do the not in for this. So you can do a not in China. That basically gives you everybody who's not from China or not equal to China. So every other country will be present, and you can do this for all the scenarios we had done. So even if you had specified multiple values inside the bracket, you can go in and add a not. You run this, you get everybody who's not from China, Indonesia, Russia, and it even works for the nested SQL statements. So if I do a not here, and that is specifying every country in the table, it should return an empty table because there is no other country. So yeah, that's it.